How many of you guys like the Clone Wars? All of you? How could you not? I mean, the animation, the characters, the amazing stories, and it all takes place within the 3-year timeline between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I would even go as far to say it more or less redeemed the prequels, making them easier to digest with this much needed context. But for the next, let's ballpark here, 6 minutes. Let's forget this magnificent work of art exists, and let's rewind back to 2003. I am a year old. Knights of the Old Republic came out. The first Pirates of the Caribbean and Schoolhouse Rock was made. And on Cartoon Network, Samurai Jack creator, bear with me, Genndy Tartakovsky, oh, that was actually not that bad, I think, is putting out Star Wars Clone Wars, with episodes varying from 3 to 15 minutes. At least that's what Wikipedia says, because personally, I just watched the 2-hour YouTube video because you can't really find it anywhere else. Anyway, much like its canon successor, it takes place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and covers a lot of bases for how short it really is. Now, let's go over some differences. Some good, others are just different. Now, in terms of characters, there's no Ahsoka, Rex, Fives, Echo, etc. In fact, most of, if not all, light side characters are pre-established from the movies, except for Cody. In fact, the only new characters are Dirge, a bounty hunter capable of reattaching his limbs, much like Swampfire from Benton Alien Force, and Asajj Ventress, who plays the same role she does in Filoni's Clone Wars, but has a rather quick end, but a really cool duel and a very badass entrance. So, she loses her life, but she looked cool doing it, so thumbs up for that. Other characters pre-established that aren't seen are Newt Gunray, Boba Fett, or any other bounty hunter besides Dirge for that matter, and Jar Jar Binks. However, Qui-Gon Jinn does appear in this vision type thing, and his nose is rather large. Another difference resides in our favorite cyborg saber wielder, Grievous. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Grievous in this, I mean, he just cleans house on these Jedi. He's so much cooler in this one than he is in the movies or even in the Clone Wars. Because one, he doesn't talk. He's not always losing to Gungans. And like I said, he cleans house on these Jedi. The only reason they live is because the clone troopers just bring a brigade for this dude, and he still escapes like a badass. And they even give a reason for his tuberculosis. Mace Windu just, he squeezes that chest. And his replacement of Ventress is much more clean, because she died. And it really just kind of wraps together really well. And then they turn him into a buffoon in episode 3. Now, the last difference resides in Anakin and Obi-Wan, as this show kind of picks up right where Geonosis kind of leaves off, just I would say maybe a month or two after. And we see Anakin shed his Padawan status, and him and Obi-Wan become a duo of equals. And you really do get that process of master and apprentice to friends, brothers in combat. And it's really nice to see it because it makes the actual Revenge of the Sith much more gut-wrenching. And though it isn't the Clone Wars, you know what I mean, the Clone Wars, we do get some development and visual representation of Anakin and Obi-Wan. Though I will say that the other people kinda get shafted, but they don't really get much development in the Clone Wars anyway, except for Ahsoka, Rex, Fives, the new characters. Now, for me personally, I like seeing Padawan Anakin grow into a Jedi Knight, and honestly, I would very much like to see more of it. I think it would make a great show to fill the gap in between episodes 1 and 2. Just a bunch of Padawan Anakin and Obi-Wan just going on adventures and seeing him just be a Jedi. It'd be cool. They do it in the comics, but that's just me. And in terms of this video, it doesn't really matter. Those are the differences. So let's move on. Actually, one thing. I will kind of talk about it later, but Dooku, you can fly. Or float. Fall with style? I don't know.
They fly now? They fly now!
Now, let's talk about some good things. Start with just the show itself, like the making of it. The animation is so clean and fluid. It looks so good when the clones are jumping out of that the gunship after it crashes, and he's doing the things, pointing them to go places, and they're running around. It looks so good. The action is so fast paced and all up in your face, and the clones, the Jedi, the battles, the combat, it just goes crazy. And the sounds are great. Like when Asajj and Anakin duel, which is probably my personal favorite action piece of the entire show, the sound of the rain on the lightsabers is something that I just never knew I needed. It's up there with that, oh man, I'm gonna look like such a fool forgetting, but that little bomb thing that Boba Fett drops, that sounds up there, and Jango Fett drops it too. Slave One, let's call it that. It's called the seismic charge. Now you guys can't call me an idiot. Woo! Now, like I said earlier, the show does lend most of its attention towards Anakin and Obi-Wan. Other Jedis do get their own episodes and time to shine. Luminara, Barriss, Yoda, and even Padme get an episode about protecting Ilum from droids. Ki Adi-Mundi, Shakti, and Aayla Secura are the only Jedis to survive Grievous's attack. Like I said, they would have died if those clones didn't come in, so... And an entire army of droids catch these hands from Mace Windu. Oh, and Kit Fisto gets his own underwater battle, and his lightsaber is looking clean. So, though we don't see much character development, we get a handful of beautiful ass kicking from our Jedi friends and Padme, and it's just super satisfying. I don't know what else to say. Oh, another quick thing that I'd like to mention is, like I said, this takes place between episodes 2 and 3, but in terms of the real world, this literally takes place in between the second and third movie. So there's stuff in here that, people have never seen before. Like, nowadays you watch it and you see these Jedi fighting in space, or, using the Force to create this giant bubble to break a hull of a ship, or, like I said, giving these hands to these droids. And it's stuff that you don't see in the movies, and I think it really opens up the world of Star Wars in terms of combat and space battles. And like I said, it opens up more opportunities and more potential for cooler fights. The last two things I really want to talk about is the fact that this show goes from Geonosis up until the literal beginning of episode 3, whereas the Clone Wars goes a little bit past it. Personally, I don't really think either is better, and I really like both. But this show, it literally includes every single possible plot hole that you could think of. Well, maybe not. Like, I'm not a film analyst, so I'm not gonna say that with definite, confidence. But it covers up a decent amount of plot holes. Like Grievous's cough is like the biggest example. It covers it all up pretty well. The last thing, it's kind of two pieces. One's just kind of small. Is Anakin. He's great. His development is very good, especially for the small amount of time that he's given. 25 episodes, max time is 15 minutes. He's not even in all of them. So, he does get the most amount of attention with his duels, his space battles. You see how skilled he is and how much he's growing as a person very quickly. And you also see how he's kind of shoved into the Jedi Knight role when he's really not prepared for it. But due to the fact that he's faced so many trials, losing his arm, defeating a Sith assassin, all these space battles that he's winning, I don't know, there's something about it. I can't really think right now because I'm so wrapped up in it. But his development is so good as he goes from this whiny kid to this Jedi Knight who's taking down whole droid armies with his former master, now brother. And even his relationship with Padme is more fleshed out and looks a lot better than it did in episode 2, because that was a mess, dude. Oh my god, it's probably one of the worst things in Star Wars was the Anakin Padme moments in episode 2. But in this one, they seem like an actual couple that miss each other, and they don't see each other because of their 2 different careers. Their marriage is secret, and it's just fate is just against them right now. And it's against them entirely, actually, because, kills her. No, you know what I mean? Anyway, the last thing is this little small piece, but I'm a sucker for prophecies, when prophecies are shown to the characters that they're supposed to be about. And I don't think any prophecy or any character gets treated better when being shown his prophecy than Anakin. So when he's shown this cave prophecy that, again, you gotta think, this is 2003, 2004, 2005, one of those years, between episodes 2 and 3 in real life. People don't really know what's going to happen in episode 3, so they kind of spoil the whole movie, but it's also kind of cryptic as to what happens, and you really don't even know that it's Anakin until you see, obviously, the Darth Vader helmet and you hear the scream. Honestly, I don't know which one's better, him being told the prophecy here or him being told the prophecy in the Clone Wars, because that one both gave me chills the first time I watched it, so I can't even really say which one I prefer. They're both so vastly different, and they're both so insanely great, and I just wanted to talk about them because personally, I drool every time I see it. Literally, just, You may be asking, Nate, is Clone Wars better than the Clone Wars? Hell no. I would much rather have the 133 22-minute episodes of pure greatness than 25 3 to 15-minute episodes of pure eliteness. Greatness is better than eliteness, just so you know. But that really doesn't matter, because this show, it doesn't really mean it's any worse, and it doesn't ruin its reputation, because it is still a really good micro series, or whatever it's considered. I mean, it's like one of the first Star Wars TV shows to actually fill in information for movies. It's the first of its kind. And it was only decanonized because Dave Filoni wanted to flesh it out and add more to it. I mean, besides Dirge and skipping over Anakin's knighting, the second Clone Wars really just takes the 2003 version, slaps in some great new characters, sprinkles in some already established characters, and stretches it out to show the cost of this meaningless war and make Revenge of the Sith a much, much more gut-wrenching movie. And though I will say Clone Wars, the 2003 one, does have more consistency than the Clone Wars, because, Fives, Rex, Ahsoka, you do get an explanation for where they were eventually, but, it's still, adding new things after the movies come out is a hard thing to do. So they do it really well, but at the same time, obviously Clone Wars is a bit more clean because they already know what's going on. I mean, as does the Clone Wars, but I hope you know what I mean, because I'm not explaining it very well. And by the way, Dirge, just in case any of you guys are Dirge fans, he's still canon. He's just in the comics. So, thumbs up for Dirge for being still out there. Actually, he's not still out there. Anakin kills him, but thumbs up for him for being canon. Overall, if you haven't seen it, just literally look up Clone Wars 2003 into your YouTube search bar and clear up about 2 hours and 12 minutes to watch some great action, a nice gap filler, decent story, decent character development, I can't speak, and just a really nice piece. 9 out of 10. Since when do I give ratings? Anyway, be sure to like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, turn those post notifications on so you know when I'm uploading, and I will see you guys in the next video.